James got shoes on, and he's at the house.
I do have shoes.
Hammer? See?
I wear shoes around the house, too.
I look like I'm in a glam pic. Hang on.
1 hour photo, James.
When we used to do the show at the house, I'd put on, I would have shoes specifically that didn't leave the house. I would only wear them in the house at home. But I wanted shoes on because I was like, I'm at work. Like, I'm doing a radio show. Like, now I got, like, we do TV. I got pajamas, a sports coat, and, like, I'm barefoot just walking around. We got some sliders on.
I can't even guarantee you I'm wearing pants right now. Just saying.
Oh, boy.
I'm wearing pants.
So to be clear, James has a hat on, a flannel, a T-shirt, shoes. Pants are a question, though. Kings winning 8-10.
There's a term for this. If you've seen Deadpool, there's a term for this.
Well, I tried to watch the last Deadpool, but it started so boring. I was like, I'm not watching this.
I haven't seen them.
The Deadpool movies are funny. The Deadpool,
they're hilarious.
I struggled with. I was like, this isn't funny. Like I want to laugh. Like I legit wanted to laugh watching it, and it didn't.
What's the one that I just saw? Oh, it was it's kind of the same vein, but not the same. It was Venom.
Okay.
Venom tries to do a little comedy every now and then. It was all right movie though.
All right. Well, Venom and Deadpool couldn't have stopped DeMar DeRozan and Malik Monk in the fourth quarter yesterday. Man, Hammer, that was a fun night at the Golden One Center last night.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, that was one of the better games that we've seen in a while. We keep seeing this though. Like, I feel like we're building something where the competition level is just rising every single game, and like, look, that was an incredibly athletic, incredibly physical team that they went up against. They took a big lead and couldn't hold on to it. They took a late lead by like 10 and gave up an 8-0 run. Like, that is one of those teams that just, keeps coming at you. And good on the Kings for, number one, holding on and winning, but also for hitting all their free throws down the stretch. Just, everybody stepped up. Everybody, figured out ways to help the team. And I thought it was exactly that. It was a very, very nice team effort.
13-13 in the fourth quarter yesterday at the free throw line.
I love that, man. We're not that far removed from, I think it was about a year ago, because I remember because it was playoff time, the Milwaukee game. The Milwaukee game was, it was the same day. The Cowboys got stomped out in the wild card round by the Packers. I remember that. They got stomped out. But no, that was the Milwaukee game, and you missed free throws. And, a year later, here you are working on the free throw. De'Aaron Fox missed some free throws in that Milwaukee game, and he comes
Malik
down.
Did too.
Malik did. But De'Aaron comes in this game, didn't have this crazy offensive output. But when it was crunch time, what did he make? 6 of 6 in that fourth quarter, I think he was. And
they were 13-13 as a team in the fourth. And I know Fox hit 5 down the stretch.
5.
Yeah, DeMar 5, De'Aaron 5, Malik 3, I think.
Something like that. They tried to steal 2 and give them to Malik late. The final 2 that DeMar hit. So when we got to the media room, DeMar looked at the box score and said, "Hey, they gave my 2 free throws to Malik. He stole my free throws." He's like, "I got 33 points." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I had him too." But the initial box score had DeMar at 31 points and Malik at 28 points.
I have that. It's now a collector's item. That's the one I downloaded last night trying to prepare for the show. And I said it earlier. Deuce was reading these numbers on it. I was like, Deuce, these are all wrong. No.
Tonight, print it out, and tonight hold it up like Wilt.
Yep, that's what it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be more evidence that I have the wrong box score than Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100 points.
There it is. We can at least prove. Yeah, we can go back and watch it.
But I do love that DeMar is at the podium immediately after the game, and he knows definitively that people always say, do you think they know? That man knew he had 33 points and wanted to know how the box score. DeMar left that podium, probably pulled Shannon or Mike aside and was like, "Hey, fix this.
Actually, Shannon said it's been fixed. It's already been fixed. And I'm like, whoa. Like,
this is the second time today I compare myself to an NBA player.
Well,
but
first one was a classic.
Oh, I know. I always know. Always. I may not know.
I believe that. Yeah,
I may not know how many assists I had or rebounds or nothing, but that calculator was working perfectly when it came to my points. Always.
Yeah.
So DeMar was sitting there like, nah, you ain't got to tell me I had 33.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had 26 in the second half. He had 10 in the third quarter, 16 in the fourth. And look, I thought his first half where he had 7 points, he was super efficient, and all of his 7 points came in rhythm and like part of the offense, and you felt good about his 7 points. And then he gets to the second half, and things got a little dicey, and they just kept feeding him. And talk about a performance, man! Like he had people draped all over him. He had a couple right in Dylan Brooks' face. And like very, very enjoyable to watch Dylan Brooks not handle that well.
Yeah, James, let me ask you a question. Are you on the same boat as me and Dame and I'd love to have Dylan Brooks here in Sacramento. I'd take Dylan Brooks in a heartbeat here in Sacramento. What you think?
I think so, but I don't know. Like there's a way that he gets his opponent riled up in a bad way. Like he did this with LeBron, right? Where he just like angered LeBron and then LeBron went crazy. And I kind of felt like the same thing in this game. It's one thing to beat the Rockets. It's a whole nother thing to, watch Malik Monk staring him down and watch DeMar staring him down. Like they wanted to beat Dylan Brooks as much as they wanted to beat the Rockets and shut him up. And so I guess you want him on your team because he is tough and he does do some good things, but at the same time, he's not very efficient as a player. And, like he made so many mistakes down the stretch. The grab foul on the inbounds pass, at that they, he was just beside himself. And like you watch the replay, it's like, come on, man! Like every single one of them, it's like he's grabbing somebody's arm and pulling on it, and you're like, okay, what exactly did you think that you did? So many times, Domas like asks for a review, and then you're watching it, you're like, man, you clearly just put your hands right in the guy's chest. Like I don't know what you're thinking that you're gonna get out of a review. But with Dylan Brooks, like he seemed like completely shocked that when he mugged somebody that they called a foul. And so maybe I would take him on my team because I know he is a fighter, he is an instigator and stuff like that. But I like my instigators to be a little more pleasant than him.
James wants a pleasant jerk on his team.
I think Keon Ellis is an instigator. I mean, we saw Brook Lopez just like lose his mind with Keon Ellis, and the whole time Keon's got a big smile. His eyes are all big and just like, who, me? Like, what do you mean? What? I didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, yes, you did. So,
any update on Keon? Have you heard anything about him today?
Well, no, we haven't heard anything today, but the team had an off day. They have their big bowling night tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, so we did see him in the locker room last night. He was walking with like a little bit of a funny gait, but outside of that, like he didn't have a wrap on it. He didn't have a big ice bag on his ankle. To be honest, he was walking around barefoot for a sec. We didn't get to talk to him because when the player's injured, they don't typically want him to talk to you. And that was the case last night. It was like, yeah, he's not talking tonight. But then he just hung out and like was chatty in the locker room. So, but it didn't look like it was all that bad. We asked Doug about it after the game, and Doug said the same thing. He said, like, look, he was sitting in there smiling. So I don't think it could be that bad because he seemed like he was in good spirits and he was moving around okay. And that's what we kind of saw too. I mean, we saw him walk. There was no crutches. There was no boot. And it looked like he probably just got out of the ice tub. But still, like he didn't have a softball side ankle walking around. Yeah.
A couple of messages today seem to indicate he's it's not too bad. He seems to be okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now what that means for Sunday, that's an entirely different conversation. But
he needed
nothing crazy.
He needed a little bit of help off the court, but the fact that he was able to put weight on it and kind of walk, that made me feel that hopefully it wasn't this long-term thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's possible we missed the Sunday's game just because. I mean, it's the Wizards. And I don't think I need to say anything else.
Well,
But
that's a tough team.
That's a tough team. That
true champions.
They fight hard, James.
Yeah,
they fight hard.
Okay. But
some of us haven't gotten over bringing their family to a Wizards game a couple of years ago and getting their ass kicked. Okay. Just want to see the purple beam. Well, sorry, guys.
You thought you bought him a purple beam game.
My sister says, "Hey, are the Wizards really good?" No, they're not. They are not.
Smack.
You mentioned the 16 from DeMar. Malik had 12. That's all in the fourth quarter. One number that we've tried to bring some attention to that probably just isn't getting enough because those scoring numbers are sexy. De'Aaron Fox, not the best offensive night for him. Didn't have that fourth quarter Fox moment on the offensive end, but 3 steals in that fourth quarter for De'Aaron.
Yeah, he won the defensive player of the game. I think it was 4 steals, a block. He had 4 deflections, and he held his opponent to 3 for 13 from the field. And look, I thought he was really good defensively, and like we talk about how physical and athletic and everything else that the Houston Rockets are. Man, Amen Thompson is a 6'8", but like power forward, and they put him at point guard to start that game, and that dude can move. And look, they threw the kitchen sink at De'Aaron Fox and tried to take Fox out of the game. And for all, they did a good job of limiting him. But that didn't mean anything because while he was being limited, DeRozan and Sabonis and Keegan Murray and Malik Monk were all going crazy. And I would also point to, there's a point where I think we can all remember the incredible block by Şengün on Fox. Fox got right to the rim, and then Şengün jumps out of nowhere and blocks the ball. He also missed like a bunny right at the rim where he got through and then tried to finish with a right hand and just it hit the back of the iron and came out. Like if he has those 2 buckets, he's got 23, and we're not talking about him having a quiet night. And so look, I thought he was really good. I just think on occasion you're going to be overshadowed by other players on your team that are really good as well. And that's all. I didn't think Fox had a bad night. I just think he didn't stand out like a crazy, all-star that you hope that he kind of would have on a TNT game.
And this is
a good question from Chris. Sorry, how were Fox's organizing stats?
That's a good
question, Chris.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't know, Chris, because we've never heard of it before.
That's the difference between a great player and just a player. Is the organizing.
You're some of your boys at The Athletic don't think De'Aaron is the best organizer. Fred VanVleet, really good organizer. De'Aaron, not so much.
I don't even know what that means.
Neither do we.
Like organizing their team? I don't know.
Nobody knows. They didn't even expand on it. Nobody knows.
No, James.
Like they buy dinner or something, or
this is why Hollinger is at The Athletic and not in a front office.
They start the group chat on where we're all going after the game. Like I'm confused. That doesn't.
He orders Post-its for the Golden One Center.
Yeah,
we decided De'Aaron's basically Pam in the final season of The Office.
Right,
he's the office administrator.
Oh, okay.
And head of the party planning committee, right?
And head of the party planning.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what that is, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Thanks for reminding me.
I got you.
What was it? Oh, you talk about Fox and Amen Thompson guarding him, and that guy was telling Dame. Me and Dame were talking about it the same. You look like next Kawhi.
Yeah,
you look like he got that in him. But you got to put him on a De'Aaron Fox. And here's the beauty of them having DeMar DeRozan, them having Malik Monk, is I don't know if there's a lot of teams that have 3 Amen Thompsons. So sure, you want to put him on Fox and try to shut that down? Cool. We'll just give the ball to DeMar for the better part of the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. And he'll go one-on-one and get buckets. And then when you try to double, DeMar going to kick it out to Malik. Malik going to swing it to Keegan in the corner for a 3. Boom. We hitting that. And that's what I look like. It's almost if this team can just get to the playoffs, because I think when you get to the playoffs, it's going to be hard to match up with these guys offensively. Talking about the Sacramento Kings, they've got a high-level talent offensively that not a lot of teams can match up for, and there seems to always be a scenario where there's going to be an advantage for them offensively. I think we saw that last night.
Well, and Kenny, to that point, I think it's key that you look at, Keegan Murray had 18 points and 11 rebounds. Like your fifth guy in the starting lineup had 18 points. Like this team has all kinds of weapons, and I expect them to have more between now and the end of and the trade deadline. I expect them to have one more weapon that they can use, whether it's off the bench or as a starter, probably off the bench. But that's where I think this thing is heading with sort of additions. They need a scorer off the bench, but again, like it's very difficult to game plan for a team that has, five guys that can go for 30 on any night. And, you want to take away this or that. And, that's why we talked about a little bit about Devin Carter and how, slow his releases on the 3-point shot. Like that dude's not going to be scouted for another 2 years. Like he's not going to be part of the true scouting report, because you're going to be worried about all these other things that the Kings have going for them that aren't Devin Carter. And so I wouldn't even worry about that. You need him to get better at some of the skill-based things that he's working on. But at the same time, like he's not, like your focus, number one is De'Aaron Fox. Number two is the two-man game between Sabonis and Monk. And then number three is DeMar DeRozan. And then number four is how do you shut the faucet off with Keegan Murray. And there's just so much talent on this team, which is why they shouldn't have been 6 games under 500 in the first place. But now I think we're starting to see the team have at least one game where I think for the most part, everybody was firing. Maybe De'Aaron Fox was a little bit off, but everybody else was, on the right, like having a good ball game.
Hammer, do you subscribe to the theory that this isn't sustainable with all of those minutes those guys played last night, 37, 38 and upwards?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Kyle and I were discussing this earlier on the Insiders. Like
show.
there are going to be nights where you can't do that, right? So the Kings don't play tonight. They don't play tomorrow. They play on Sunday. And when they do play on Sunday, they play the Washington Wizards. And then they have 2 more days off. They don't play on Monday. They don't play on Tuesday. And they have the Golden State Warriors. So am I okay on a Thursday night with him running guys out there for 38 to 40 minutes? Yes, absolutely. I mean, they've got 2 days to recover. Now, what you have to be cautious of is when you get to Wednesday and you play the Golden State Warriors, and what you don't want to do is play everyone 35 to 37 minutes that night, knowing that you got to get on a plane, take an hour bus ride from the airport to the hotel, lose an hour because of the time zone change in Denver, and then play at elevation on a back-to-back. So there are certain games where, no, I don't want to see everyone playing 38 minutes a night. But like, look, if you got a couple of days off, like, why not go for broke? It's a great team, but look how much that game meant last night. I mean, the Kings went a game over 500. They cut to within a game of 500 at home. Like all of these little things matter, especially when Doug is promoting taking care of home court so much. You beat a team in the top of the standings in the Western Conference. Like that was a huge, huge win for the Kings. Like sometimes you got to go for broke, and I'm okay with that. But just, know that if you had Washington tonight, I still would have probably done it because I don't fear Washington. But if you would have had a better team coming in, or you had to go play the Golden State Warriors tonight, then maybe you don't play guys that many minutes and you cut back a little bit.
Do you believe they have enough guys to play minutes? Like, are you subscribing to, like, how we talked about the other day? I know people's not crazy about Herter, but because of the situation, like, you just have to play him. He only played 9 minutes last night, but I don't know, in certain cases, in this scenario like you talked about, maybe you just have to play Kevin Herter 13 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way it is, right? And it's the same with Trey Lyles. Like, Trey has done a good job of rebounding when he's not scoring. But, Trey had a handful of games where he was incredible offensively, and now he's missing shots again. And it's just like he's had such an up and down season. If you just look at 5-game stints and stuff, it's all over the board. But also, the injury to start the year, the calf injury that cost him, 18 games or whatever it was. Like there's all these like fits and stops for him, and he's got to figure out a way to like be more consistent within the game to game. But that's also, again, why you need someone else who can really put the ball in the basket from that bench. And I think it's funny how like it just keeps moving the player that you think this team needs. Like at one point, I think we all looked around like, hey, just a Dorian Finney-Smith type would be okay. And then it's like, well, no, you probably need a Cam Johnson type. And now I'm like, okay, I can talk myself into John Collins, where a week ago I couldn't, or 2 weeks ago I couldn't. Just because John Collins can create, he can hit a three, he can block a shot, he's a better rebounder. He's 2 years younger than Cam Johnson. Like there are so many things that you're looking at. You're like, okay, well, I think I could talk myself into a lot of different things, especially if you're getting like the rim runner, the guy, the lob threat for Malik. Like there are a lot of things that I think you can get out of a different player like John Collins if you're no longer looking for a starter, if you're no longer looking for like a completely defensive minded player because your defense is so bad. Now with the way that they're cooking offensively and the way they're playing as a team, I think, adding a piece off the bench that could get you 15 to 20 points a night, and for that matter, could at any point go for 30. Another guy like that would be dangerous, and maybe even a little bit better than having a Cam Johnson type player.
Well, at least it's not. Well, the Kings need Victor Wembanyama. At least it's not that. At least we're still dealing with role players who could.
Well, they still do. They still need Victor Wembanyama.
Well, there are 30 teams in the league.
Whichever.
Well, actually, there's 29 teams in the league that could really use Victor Wembanyama. You know who the Sacramento Kings clearly need on their basketball floor is Malik Monk. Just everything feels different, Hammer, when Malik is out there versus when he's not.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to go out and like scour the league for another player who plays with that type of joy. You know what I mean? So when Malik is out, you've got someone else who plays that way, and it's just such a an understated thing that he has, like this certain something about him that just lights up a room. And there are players like him in the league, but there's not a ton of them. And the way he plays with the energy and sort of the zest for life, it's something that matters. And so, there's not a way to replicate that. There's not a way to have someone grow into that type of player. I certainly think that Malik has been in Sacramento specifically has been allowed to like become who he should have been in the league and sort of find himself and have a bigger voice and allow this personality to really like come out of him and shine. But at the same time, I don't know where you find another one, but you should probably look for it because it's contagious. And what he brings to the court, especially early in games, which is, I think it's something that we kind of overlooked when it was like, should you start him? Should you not start him? And just the way that he gets you off to a good start because of the way that he attacks the game, but also like brings the joy. It's special. And I, again, I didn't think he would be this valuable when the Kings signed him as a free agent a couple of years ago. And now he's like indispensable. And you're kind of hoping that he'll be here forever. In the same way that I think Bobby Jackson had the same exact thing. And it's just really tough to like pinpoint what it is, but you need great shooters. You had great passing big men and Chris Webber and Vlade Divac. You had your high intensity multi-tool guy in Doug Christie. You had your knockdown shooters and Peja and Mike Bibby, but you also need that other ingredient that Bobby Jackson brought, and that's what Malik Monk brings to this version of the Kings.
And it's a perfect spot for him. We love him here in Sacramento. Like, we love Malik Monk. We always talk to people, and Lania was here the other day, and she sees all these guys and like, who's your favorite? We talk about who's your favorite. Everybody, oh, we love Malik. Oh, we love, like, they love him here. Bobby, when you talk about Bobby Jackson, that was a great comparison, because I mean, he kind of went around the league for a little bit and was just a good player, kind of nondescript, and then he found a home here, and the people love Bobby Jackson. And I feel that same way about Malik Monk, man. They react different at the games when he hits a shot. They react different when he does something. They love Malik Monk here, man. And he's this his city for as long
Malik
as he
Monk dunk is probably the most electrifying thing in the Golden Ones.
I think so. I
Yeah,
think so.
and a Malik Monk 3-point shot. I totally agree. And Jalen here in the chat, he brings up a really good point. The Kings need a Hito. They do. They need that other guy that does multiple things off the bench that is just better than what Trey Lyles can do at this point in his career. As a higher end like scoring ability or whatever. Like I think that's, if you're going to compare this team to the previous team, you do kind of need that one other ingredient that they just don't seem to have. And it's that all around guy that can score, that can pass, that can rebound, that can do a bunch of different things coming off the bench and add just one more element. But they're super close. And like, again, it's not like this roster, we didn't think that this was a 50-win roster. We just thought that they still had holes that they need to fill, and I still feel that way. But at least they're playing really well right now.
MVPG.
Did you real quick
saw that commercial for the first time? That one, the MVPG.
What is it?
The pizza guy commercial. It's a new pizza commercial.
I don't even be paying attention.
Yeah, see,
with Malik Monk, where they do fake media scrum.
That's yep. James wasn't even a part of it. He didn't get to be a part of the fake media.
Garbage. Come on.
We'll come back. We'll close out the week. Whatever you were about to say, lock it up, write it down. Tell me to bookmark it when we go to commercial. We'll come back. We'll close out the day. We'll close out the week with our insider from the Insiders. It's our man James Ham with D-Lo and KC here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. All right.
Come on, man.
All right, Vanessa.
Come on, man.
All right, Vanessa. This is easy work for Vanessa. She be making beats.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is all you need to do.
Vanessa,
that's what she's saying.
Vanessa, I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna have Vanessa make beats for me. Eric Spoelstra says the Heat are in an unusual place. Okay. Yep, Eric, that's correct.
Yeah, no, this is great. Bring them back. Yeah, have them play. Yeah, this is.
He said you're looking for drama. I'm looking to get this team to play at a high level. All right, pal. Good luck to Eric Spoelstra.
It's funny. I think Katie's mentioned it a couple times or whatever, but they're like, Keon Ellis is, you talk about, man, in high school, I was a scorer, like, got buckets, whatever, get to college and you play a role, but still was able to get buckets. And I can imagine him, people, Keon Ellis, man, defense is his game. He's a defensive guy. Hey, I score. Stop playing with me. Stop talking to me like I'm some non-offensive scrub. Like, I get buckets. Stop playing. But he understood what was going to get him to the league. Locked in on that.
They could still use a shot blocker, that's for sure. Kings. I mean, you saw it last night. Like, there was a point where I thought the Rockets, like maybe 4 minutes left in the third quarter, they just started running right at the Kings and like attacking the rim with like a physicality the Kings just couldn't match. Just one after another, and I was like, oof, I don't know how you recover from this. They went to like an all tough guy lineup. I was like, what in the world is that?
They're tough.
They are. That when they bring out Steven Adams and Dylan Brooks and
I love
and
Steven Adams. I think
yeah,
Steven Adams is going to be one of my favorite players for a long time.
yeah, he's awesome. But they had Tari Eason and then Cam Whitmore, all of those guys on the floor together. It's like, ooh, who's going to stop who? Frank Anwar, I love Steven Adams too. Like the first time I met Steven Adams when he was doing pre-draft, years ago, what did he go in the Ben McLemore draft, 2013? He came through Sacramento and he was just hilarious then. I don't know, mate. Yeah, and he had short hair.
Yeah, that's wild. Looking back at him, that's crazy.
Coming out of Pitt, yeah, just a big dude.
Yeah, he really is. He is a very big man.
Yeah, yeah. He was not moving very well last night still. So, I mean, it's tough. He just kind of is what he is at this point. Yeah, that was the CJ McCollum draft where CJ McCollum thought he was going to Sacramento. Where they had him in for a third workout like the Monday before the draft.
I had no idea CJ thought he was coming to Sacramento.
I think he has a tattoo. Almost drafted by the Sacramento Kings.
I'm sure he got over it, though.
Second only to LeBron playing his first game here. We're coming back, Hammer. Got Vanessa in the production room running things, and it's so pleasant. Like, she gets on the mic and says, "We're coming back in 5 seconds." It's a lot nicer than Jesse.
Vanessa, what do you think of Tua?
Oh,
don't worry about it.
Now you got her stressed out because she's got to figure out what buttons to push. It's her first day.
You think Mike McDaniels is the guy?
Day.
Do you believe in Mike McDaniels?
I like it. I'm getting it. I'm taking notes.
She's taking notes. Like she's good. We appreciate you, Vanessa. But she's so pleasant. It's better. All right, we're coming back. Hey, jackass! Show's on.
I guess we'll never know. I'm coming back.
That needs to be Jesse's shirt. We'll never know. We're back. That's tremendous.
Oh,
that is tremendous. Great job,
Vanessa. Before we went to break, I was just gonna. It was nothing too serious, but it was pretty funny. Circulating on the internet, talking about Malik Monk.
Okay, hold on. Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
But one of the reasons, we talk about how much we love Malik Monk or whatever. I know a lot of people saw the moment when DeMar got the and one when Malik was like, "I'm open."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
Yeah,
that was a classic.
That's on my stories. That's funny. That's funny.
That's classic.
That's funny.
That's a classic one, man. That's why we love Malik Monk.
Malik had 2 moments. He had that one, and then the Dylan Brooks stare down.
The stare down was like,
where did you notice? Dylan didn't look back.
Malik crazy.
Dylan did not look back.
Malik about that life.
What's the Tinashe song? Match My Nasty. He match my crazy. That man matched it. I'm not looking back at him.
Malik, man, come on, man. This dude, he one of them ones. He one of them ones here in Sacramento. He should not, like James said earlier, he should never leave. Never.
Yeah.
No, you got to try to find another one like him. Another guy who brings that type of energy and that type of creativity. And I think that's a lot of it. He's just a super creative dude. Everything he does on the court is like, it's instinctual. It's not planned. It's not scripted. He's a certified hooper. And there's such a joy he plays with that you need to find other guys like him.
Never forget. Oh, goddamn!
Every game, he's like, "Oh, there's a mic up there." Now he knows there's a mic. It's like, "Ooh, there's a mic up there." I'm going to say things into that mic.
He had a last night. He didn't get a goddamn, but
he's probably worried that it was national television. And he's going to get himself in
But I didn't
trouble.
stop Ime Udoka.
Ime.
Ime ain't talked to an official without a 4-letter word in God knows how long.
Did you guys catch, James? I know you were at the game, but you went back and watched. Did you catch the Doug Christie moment with Keon and the ref?
I don't think I did.
He was mic'd up, and Keon, something happened. Keon was talking to the ref, and Doug comes over and he says, "Hey, man, get away from him, man. Get away." Talking to Keon.
Yeah.
Get away from him. Let him do his job. Like, let him work or whatever. And the ref goes, "Well, no, he's fine. Like, as long as it's respectful like this, then it's fine." And Doug was like, I know, but no, we're trying to not even worry about that or something like that.
Yeah, ref, because I don't know if you know, the last guy who was here, all we did was argue with the officials. So I'm trying to.
It's one of those. It's one of those moments where your mom comes over and is like, "Oh no, he can't have that piece of candy." You're like, "No, it's fine. I don't mind if he has it." I said he cannot have that piece of candy. It's like,
that's exactly what it was.
Okay,
was like, no,
kid, you can't have the candy. Your mom said no.
Sorry, Keon. Doug won't let me talk to you.
Keon's in there with the big eyes, like,
that's
but I want that piece of candy.
I gotta go back and watch that. That's funny. That is terrific.
Mom said he can't have candy.
What? Poor Keon just wanted a Jolly Rancher, and Doug said no. One.
Get over there. Have some smelling salts. Sorry.
One guy that weren't we supposed to order smelling salt for the station? One guy who probably hasn't gotten the attention he deserved today is Keegan Murray. Damn near 40 minutes from Keegan yesterday. 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 18 points for Keegan last night. Really good on both sides of the ball. Hammer Keegan. Again, I guess we're still so young into this. We have to keep saying, like, Keegan looks like a different player with Doug Christie as his head coach. He looks like a different player. To be fair, he looks like a different player since coming back from those 2 games he sat with the ankle or the foot.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. Everybody who kept talking about how Mike was just running Keegan into the ground, he's literally playing the same role and playing the same amount of minutes that he did under that he is right now with Doug. And the difference is he just has like a weight lifted off of him. And I think I don't know that Keegan had something against Mike, but I do feel that whatever it is, the change here that's happened here to Doug has just given him a reset. And all of a sudden he's doing everything he was doing before, just way better. And he's hitting his shots. He's taken, I think Kyle figured it out. He's taken 8 or more threes in 4 games in the last, I think, 6. And he'd only done that 3 times, taken 8 3-pointers under Mike Brown the whole first half of the season. The rebounding is something that I'll keep pointing to. Like, he's been really good rebounding the ball all season, but all of a sudden he's going up and grabbing rebounds like over the top of people, and he's snaring the ball. You're like, hey, look at that. He went and got it. He didn't let the rebound come to him. The finish in transition where he went behind the back and then like faded backwards as he switched hands and hit the layup, that was incredible. And then he had like 3 or 4 dunks. Well, maybe it was 2 or 3 dunks because, he finished with 18, and I know he hit a handful of threes as well. He's all the way up to 32.4% from 3. And I was worried that he wasn't going to have the ability to get to 34 or 35% on the season. I think he'll finish at 37, 38% because he's that good of a shooter. And we're just seeing him incrementally get better. I do believe that whatever was going on with the ankle it was downplayed way too much. And, we heard about them having to drain the ankle and then him getting cortisone shots in the ankle right before he missed the time. And then he took those 2 games off, and it really does look like it got his body right. And when you mix that with a little bit of a boost in confidence because just the different voices in the room, I think he's all of a sudden right back to the Keegan Murray that we thought he would be this season. And that's a really good thing for the Kings because he just was not playing well enough the whole first half of the season where you felt comfortable with him out there and playing nearly as many minutes as he was playing. But the fact was you had no one else who could play those minutes at all, and you still don't. But now you do feel comfortable with him just because he's playing so much better.
Keegan Murray in the month of January, and I believe it coincides with when he came back because he came back against the Warriors, right? After the time off. Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
14.5 points, 48.5% from the field, 47.7% from beyond the arc, 7 rebounds as well, almost a steal a game, a block a game. He looks different. Simple as that. I mean, and this isn't another coaching situation or conversation we're having, but I think the combination of the two, Doug Christie and the time off that he took for the ankle, kind of seems to have him rejuvenated and maybe even just cleared his mind a little bit as well.
Yeah, and clearly he wasn't around Mike Brown during the time off, so no. I'm just kidding. I had to. You said this isn't a Mike Brown thing. I had to get them. That was a joke. Stop it. Sorry, James. Go ahead.
Well, I'd say the 2 games before he missed time, he had 5 points and he had 4 points in those 2 games. I mean, he was shot. Like you could tell he was 1 of 9 combined in those 2 games. And even if you look at the 4 games before that, it was 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 11 points. I mean, he was barely hitting double figures every night. And now you've just found a way to like rejuvenate him. And I liked what Doug said after the game. He said, just like you just putting your arm around a young guy and making sure he feels the love. And he said, the same thing that Mike said that, Keegan Murray is way better than even Keegan Murray thinks he is. Everyone else sees how good he can be, and he hasn't got to the point where he has the faith and the belief that he's as good as everyone else thinks he is. And when he gets to that point, then the Kings are hoping is when he truly ascends to like the player that they believe he'll be, like the finished product. But again, 3rd year in, I mean, he still has time to grow and to become, the 18 point per game scorer, 19, 20 point per game scorer that we all thought he would be coming out. You're just kind of waiting for that moment where maybe his role is a little bit bigger. And the fact that he had 18 in a game where, he had 33 from DeRozan and 26 from Monk and 20 from Sabonis and 19 from Fox, that's still really good. It just shows you again where the pecking order is and how, it's really difficult to take that next leap if you're a young guy when all the other players around you are really, really good.
Well, whether it's the rest, whether it's Doug, combination of the two, like KC just said, it's pretty impressive to watch. I mean, Keegan's, we know that Keegan's been a good player, but to see just the switch since getting those 2 games off and his impact on both sides of the ball in these games has been pretty awesome. There have been some really good games in the 10, the 8 that Doug has won, but I think people will remember last night's game for a long time. Houston's obviously a good basketball team. That's on national television, and they lost their last game. So it's not like you're not still riding the wave, and it's not, it's just a subway. Oh, none of this is real. It's all right. We not only did we lose, we got our teeth kicked in, and now we're back home. We got to regroup. We got some things to figure out. And man, they fought until the end against a great Houston Rockets team.
Real quick, James, I just want to say, I didn't even think about that. And that's a testament to the things that you're looking for and the things that everybody's looking for. Because, yes, they did lose. I mean, it didn't even matter. They just came out and they're competing.
That's right.
Like they're hooping.
Yep.
Like we didn't think, oh, man, they look a little iffy because of last night. Or no, this is what we do. We hooping. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I think that there's something to it, too, where you're looking at it, you're like, okay, there were built-in excuses all over the place. They're like, okay, anytime you win 6 or 7 in a row, there is usually a letdown, and sometimes the letdown lasts a game or 2. Anytime you go on the road and you have a 3-game road trip and a couple of really emotional wins followed by an emotional loss, like there is a little bit of a letdown. So if the Kings would have let down a little bit last night, I think it still would have been, let's say they fought really hard. They got all the way to the end, but they missed a couple of free throws and Houston got one more big shot and they lost a game. I think we still today would be feeling pretty good about where they are. We would have said, okay, that was a good barometer game. It's a really, really good Houston Rockets team. And you had all of these other built-in excuses. But the fact that they don't have to rely on that they walked in and they beat a good team, after a road trip and after a tough loss and all that stuff, it does kind of make you feel even a little bit better about the 8-2 Doug Christie era. And sort of where they're heading. And then when you look at the schedule ahead of them with these 2 games coming up, you can see where, like, look, if there is no let up, if they are going to be more like the 2022-23 Kings, where they don't, just have almost like brain dead moments, right, and just fall to bad teams. If they can get over that right now, they have a chance to go 3 games over 500, walking into a crazy 6-game road trip. And then this crazy 6-game road trip, it looks easier than it did, 2 months ago. Sure, you got to play the Knicks, you got to play Denver, but Denver's beatable. The Knicks are playing really well, but then you get the Nets, and not only that, but this spacing of the long road trip where they're going to have like 4 days in New York City without even having to switch hotels. Then you go from there, and you got Philadelphia. And Philadelphia now, Joel Embiid's out 7 to 10 days at a minimum before they'll even reevaluate him because of knee swelling. So you're looking at this road trip and going, okay, 3-3 on that trip is a lot more possible than it was 2 weeks ago, and maybe even a 4-2 trip. And if you get that and you come home and you're still 5 games over 500. There's a stretch of games right there where you can start winning again. And next thing you know, this team is cooking, and that's where you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's nice riding this wave right now. That's for sure. It is
Amen.
nice riding this wave right now because, man, this thing looked like it was over. I thought I was going to have to answer calls on the wake-up call. Just pick, hi, wake-up call. What do you want to talk about?
Kevin the intern got his own show. I'm here.
Yep. I'm now D'Lo the intern over there for Kevin.
And this show is going to be nothing but me reviewing the Office episodes that I've seen.
Well, show would be off the air by 1:30. Wouldn't even make it. Wouldn't even make it a full show with that. Barely get through the first season. Damn shame.
I'm watching one this weekend.
No, why do you do this?
Because I am.
You're lying to Vanessa's here. You're lying to Vanessa.
I'm gonna watch at least.
Don't lie to Vanessa, Kenny.
Don't lie to Vanessa, Kenny.
Don't lie to Vanessa.
I'm watching.
No, you're not.
Vanessa, don't
Bad
listen
habits.
to these people.
Bad habits.
Don't listen to these people. I'm watching the episode of The Office this weekend. At least one. Come on, man.
No one believes
I'm
you.
here.
Literally no
I
one.
watch it tonight.
If I said, you know what? The sky will fall on us on Sunday. They're more likely to believe me than you.
Well, that's because Kyle Shanahan told us
we
might not make it.
We might not make it. We might.
You hit the group text. If you watch 1, I will watch 6. And if you watch 2, I'll watch 6 more.
If you watch
this
1,
weekend,
James will watch Paid in Full. If you watch 1 episode of The Office, James will watch an entire season of the Flavor Flav show.
If I watch 2, he'll watch New Jack City. I think he's seen
James
New Jack
has
City.
seen New Jack
I've
City.
seen New Jack City. Come on now.
James,
Paid in Full is a barbershop.
what did
movie.
James see that we were like, all right, James? It was like, was it Breaking or something?
No, James has seen all of these movies.
Yeah,
it's just Paid in Full is very.
You're missing out.
That's
on
a
this
very
one.
neighborhood movie.
Yeah, you missing
Yeah.
out on this one.
If James
Poetic justice. I think that's what you were shocked that I had
that
said.
was one. Yeah, James can't get Paid
Tupac
in
and
Full
Janet
at his salon where he gets his haircut, but you can get it at the barber shop that we get our haircut.
Paid in Full. What's the other? Killer Season. Yeah, he'll watch Killer Season.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're not watching a single episode.
You're going. Why would I say it if I'm not going to watch it?
Why do you do that every time?
Well, because things happen now that I know that I'm
There's
logged
2
into
football
the app.
games. There's 2 football games.
Yeah.
Saturday, 2 football games Sunday, and the King Sunday. That you're going to.
There's nothing going on tonight. And like, there's no late game. Well, the late game is Lakers Nets.
Okay.
I don't know if I need to watch that. I will watch Wemby and the
Everybody
Spurs against Memphis.
spam at King KC
_
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Office? Did you watch The Office? Just spam him
Well,
Office.
don't
gifts
do it
tonight.
now. I'm not watching it
Do
yet.
it now.
Give me time to watch the show.
No, everyone listening. There's 1,600 people. Just spam. That's just watching. Like these
Just
are people
spam.
who have computers and phones accessible. Just send Kenny an Office gift right
Season
now.
2, episode 2. That's what I'm about to be watching. Oh, that's a good one. I good shout out, Manny. Have you seen Baps before?
Oh, I don't think so.
You like Baps.
I don't think James would like Babs. To be clear. I do not think James would like Babs. Before we go, Hammer, who we got here? This is a bit in your wheelhouse as well. I know you love this stuff. Texans at Chiefs. I know who you're going with in that one. Your boy. You're riding with your boy.
Oh, we did point spreads earlier. So what? Chiefs are by 8.5. I wouldn't take the Chiefs with the points. I'll take the Chiefs to win, but I don't think they'll cover.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be 20-17 or 21-13. Yeah, I think that'll be a close game.
Okay, before we get to the other three. Okay, now let's go through these real quick. Commanders at Lions.
Lions.
I don't know the spreads for any of these. Rams
That's
at
a good-
Eagles.
I'm going. Ooh, I think earlier I didn't like the spread in this one either. I think I'll take the Eagles to win, but not to cover.
I think I'm taking the Rams to win that game. I actually think I'm taking the Rams and Commanders.
Oh man, the Lions are gonna.
NFC Championship.
That really feels like hot take stuff, but
I think they've got a shot.
I like the way the Rams
both
are
think
playing. The Commanders would be an upset.
I'm gonna go Eagles though. I smell what you're cooking, but I'm gonna go Eagles. I don't know if that Rams defense is ready to stop Saquon in the run game.
I got you.
Yeah, I just don't like Jalen Hurts. I think if you can slow down Saquon, I don't know that Hurts can beat you. So even with all the weapons,
agrees.
Well, Ravens at Bills.
Ravens. I have a feeling the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, I like it. I like it. The Washington Wizards are here on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
This happened with Toronto. What are the chances the two sides get together and try to iron something out Sunday morning?
Oh.
Because, again, we saw this with Toronto and Pascal Siakam. It ended rather quickly.
Didn't work.
Wasn't a long conversation.
But they literally were like, hey, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I definitely would listen. I would take Jonas Valanciunas in a heartbeat. I'm kind of off the Kyle Kuzma wagon here. He just hasn't played well. He just hasn't played well at all this season. Well, no, I mean, there's a point where I fell in love with his contract, but again, you didn't trade for him then. And now his contract is a little bit older, and he's a little bit older. And I would, again, I'm sort of like, for some reason, John Collins is now climbing up the list of people on my list, especially when, he's like a year or two younger. I think he's 2 years younger than the other options, than Cam Johnson or Kyle Kuzma.
They don't play Utah till the 26th of February. Damn it!
No,
gotta get back on the phone.
I think Utah will look a lot different by then, though.
Oh yeah, well, who knows? It's Danny Ainge. Danny's just probably staring at everybody the same way he is Monty McNair.
I continue to hear that they're being super aggressive. The Kings have been super aggressive.
I don't doubt that the Kings are being super aggressive. I think Danny's just sitting around like, oh, I don't know.
He's just waiting for the Lakers call so he can get fleeced again.
Well, he doesn't get fleeced. He's
given things.
He's clearly BFFs with Rob Pelinka. Oh, Rob, what do you need? Sure. Here you go. Oh, let's settle that golf bet we had a couple weeks ago. Here, take this.
It's almost like he thinks he's Rob Lowe, and you're like, hey, he's not Rob Lowe. He's Rob Pelinka, and you keep giving him players. Like, I don't understand.
Same page. Does look like Rob Lowe.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Rob Pelinka looks like Rob Lowe. He looks exactly like Rob Lowe.
He does.
Rob Pelinka is more famous for looking like Rob Lowe than being the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers. Your stupid facial expression is not getting over at all. We're ending this show. Kenny is on my last nerve. I swear to God.
That was Rob with the game.
Flashback Friday starts on 102.5 next. Shout out to Vanessa and Jesse for holding it down. We'll see you here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll see you here Tuesday at 10 a.m. on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
Vamos King still like the beam.